Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
I gotta highlight this story that some of us are familiar with, and it just came out in a big magazine with Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem. Now, Kendrick Lamar apparently has started a label with his manager, Dave Free. People were spreading rumors and talking about this whole thing of him leaving TDE, and he's not. He's still under TDE for a couple more albums. Here's the story done by Vice.com. Kendrick Lamar in conversation with Baby Keem. Launching the 40th anniversary issue of ID, the icon that is Kendrick Lamar interviews his 20-year-old protege. Notice how they use the word protege. Baby Keem, one of the world's most exciting new artists about making money, providing for family, and the rise of PG Lang. PG Lang, again, is a label that Kendrick started, or a media company, entertainment company, with long-time manager Dave Free. Dave Free was, I think, the president or something of TDE. He left to manage and do this thing with Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar. That's where the rumors started of Kendrick leaving TDE. He's not leaving TDE, but he does have this new venture. This story is really cool. It talks about all kinds of different things. It talks about Kendrick Lamar never wanting to repeat Good Kid, Mad City, and why he went such a polar opposite direction and made The Pimp a Butterfly. It talks about Baby Keem's process. It talks about Baby Keem being from Las Vegas and moving to LA, where he was originally from. This is a really good read. I would encourage all you guys to read it. It's really interesting. It talks about Baby Keem at some point telling a story, but kind of doing it in a fun sense initially. It's just a lot of really good stuff here. But the point that I want to point out is they have done such an intentional job of scrubbing or avoiding or tiptoeing around the fact that Kendrick and Baby Keem are cousins. And they don't say that in this story, right? And it's the same ridiculous come-up story of the way Baby Keem was introduced, as he just randomly shot TDE an email, and they just picked all of his beats, and he ended up on the Black Panther soundtrack doing stuff behind the scenes. And they try to set him up as this like emerging underdog. Ooh, where did he come from? And then come to find out, I think one of the nieces or one of the other cousins, I think Kendrick's sister, spilt the beans that they're actually cousins. And then they were like, oh, Baby Keem is an industry plant. But here's the thing. Do we have such a toxic view in hip hop because we have such a toxic view of money that we instantly assume that industry plant is bad? Remember, the rest of society, any other industry, nepotism is common. Nepotism meaning you put your family on, you put your peoples on, you get on to different positions in life. Why? Not just because on the merit of your own skill. We would like to believe that capitalism is a merit-based economy or meritocracy. It's not. It is about who you know. It is about who you know. And if you have the right skills and you are connected to the right people and you're likable, you're going to go way further than a person that's really, 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 really amazing, but maybe they're not in the loop, right? And that person has a different challenge. They have to put out a ton of music. They got to be self-sufficient. They can't be as artsy-fartsy with their stuff. And so you have a guy like Russ who comes out and has to put out, build a 300-song catalog and put out a ton of music, basically from a basement. But then once it really pops off and he hits that tipping point, he owns everything. And so I think it's really interesting. I read this whole interview and Kendrick talks about his aunt calling him and being mad that Baby Keem wasn't going to school while he was living in LA and he was in LA to work with Kendrick. They never acknowledged the fact that they're blood-related family, right? They never acknowledged the fact. Why? Why? And I have this theory because in hip-hop and American culture, we have been so conditioned to believe that money is evil, that putting your own on is bad, and that you have to keep certain things under wraps because you want the perception that someone came up and it happened organically, which is, by the way, one of the biggest BS words used. Seldom do things happen organically. Russ putting out 300 songs, grinding away, then putting out 50-something songs on SoundCloud every single week, and then Kylie Jenner putting his song on a snap, and then it taking off, and then him signing to Columbia, and then him getting on every mainstream publication and radio. That was not organic. That was very calculated. This uprising with Baby Keem and the way it was position and pontificated that he just organically came out of nothing, and he's right, he might be Kendrick Lamar's ghostwriter, and people just felt like they discovered this new artist, not knowing that you didn't really discover this new artist, that it was really placed in front of you in a way to make you feel like you discovered him. But the reality is, this is nepotism. This is you putting your family on. And we have such a weird and toxic view of money in America. We love the idea of making it, but when it comes to putting your own on, all of a sudden, that's an industry plan. We frown down upon it. And I don't think that the term industry plan is even fair, right? Baby Keem, at the end of the day, makes dope music. Kendrick Lamar wants to put his people on and also wants to be a boss and wants to be an entrepreneur. It's beautiful. Celebrate that. Acknowledge that that is your cousin. Why downplay it? Right? Read this article. It's really weird that he's being positioned as his protege when it's his cousin. Just say that it's your cousin, fam. But is it really a reflection of where we are as hip-hop consumers? Because we then will look down upon and frown down upon a Baby Keem who's actually extremely talented, but because we see him as Kendrick's cousin, all of a sudden he didn't work as hard. Everything in this article says that he takes his craft very seriously, but we will kind of downplay it, right? Even to the fact where we found out that the TDE executive team, the folks that are running the show, Punch, and all those folks over there are actually Top Dog's sons, right? They're Top Dog's sons, and they've kept that under wraps. I don't know, man. It seems like nepotism is the American way. Get on, put your folks on, put your people on, right? Help them put other people on, right? Everybody get money together. That seems like what we want to do, but for some reason, we downplay it. We downplay it. And by the way, when we talk about wealth building, Kendrick Lamar is one of those examples of somebody that's done amazing things with his money. Amazing things. He was recognized in the California state and won some big award for that. He was brought out to the White House and met Barack Obama in 2015, 2016. He is very generous to what he does with his wealth when it comes to giving back to his local community. And so my question is, for those of you guys that are, democratic, socialist, or whatever, and I'm not mad at that, but my question is quite simply, who do you think is going to make sure that their money goes further to help their people? Kendrick Lamar putting it in the hands of Compton schools and putting it in the hands of his local neighborhood and putting it in the hands of people he feels he needs to help? Or the government taking 70% of it if this Green New Deal passes? I don't know. I think Kendrick Lamar is way more connected and knows where the needs are in his local community. And I feel like I want someone like that to have more, so we could have more Baby Keem, so we could have more artists coming up, so we could have more people fed, so we could have more people taken care of in his local community. And is it weird that I don't think the government is going to do a better job with Kendrick's money than Kendrick is doing in terms of helping people? Our goal is the same, right? Whether you're fiscal conservative, or Republican, Democrat, nobody wants poverty. Poverty is not good for capitalism, and poverty is not good for poor people. Nobody wants people poor. Nobody wants people broke. Nobody wants people starving. Nobody wants these things. It's just, what solutions do we want there to be? I think Kendrick's money in Kendrick's hands, more of that is going to go further to help people, to build businesses, to employ people, than the state of California, which has already proved that it's wildly inefficient with handling money, the highest state income tax in the country. They're pushing it to 16%. I think I want Kendrick to have that. I think I'd rather have Kendrick to have that. And I don't know, this is a weird video. You guys are like, Ruslan's using Kendrick and this whole Baby Keem thing to argue for lower tax. Yeah, man. I think anything over 50% is immoral, in my opinion. This is my opinion. My opinion. This is me speaking on behalf of me. So, what y'all think, man? Why do we frown down upon this when this is literally how people get their money and they put other people on and then they give back to their community? Why does this have to be so kept on the low? Just, dog, it's your cousin. That's awesome. Put your cousin on. It's a beautiful thing. I hope someday that when I'm bigger and I have a bigger audience, that I have cousins and, different people that are trying to rap that I could put on, nephews or whoever that I could put on gift platforms to. I think that would be incredible. So, I don't know. What y'all think?
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.